Hello, Sadanand ma'am. It's an amazing experience to have you on this side of the screen. Uh, welcome
Yes,
to Aamchi Legends.
yes, Santosh. Nice to meet you, talk to you, and I hope we have a very good interactive session.
Absolutely. In fact, apologies from our Aamchi Legends team. I mean, when we were working and conceptualizing the Legends show, you were one of the first few that we had thought of, but for whatever reasons, we couldn't, connect to each other. But I'm glad that we're finally here on this show, and so grateful to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having considered me as an Amchi legend. I thought that the legend would be a separated word, legend. So, but I'm happy to be on your show.
Most welcome, and I'm so glad you're here. So, Sadanand ma'am, let's talk from your career perspective. You're a metallurgical engineering graduate. From a M of a metallurgical engineering to an M of music. How has this journey been, and how did this whole love for tabla start in the first place? If you could walk us through.
Actually, it was tabla that had a precedence. I started when I was a 10-year-old,
Okay.
a school kid, and the passion continued. But because of our Amchi society having set mind, this thing, that children should be an engineer or a
Yeah.
doctor, hold a good post, work your whatever off, and then rest of the things come later on the side.
Agree.
So sticking to that logic, my parents put me, because I was a good student, I always used to get very high marks and score ranks. They
Okay.
thought I was fit enough to be an engineer, and consequently, everything worked out in that line. So I went in for engineering, but my tabla was doing great at that point of time.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't realize, that how good I was, I didn't realize.
Hmm.
If I thought that if I can do it without much effort, I think anybody can do it. So that's what my psychology was, and so I didn't give it too much of a thought and
Okay.
importance, and I
Okay.
went in for engineering
Uh-huh.
thinking that I'll be an Amchi engineer and
Yeah.
much sort of in demand in the matrimonial market.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So,
but
did you get some chance to play tabla even in those college days of engineering, performances?
no, actually, to tell you the truth, I'm ashamed of it, but I didn't have a tabla set in my hostel room.
Uh-huh.
I didn't practice.
Okay.
But in the first 6 years preceding that, 6 to 8 years, I had practiced so much. Every day, returning from school, I
Hmm.
used to visit my Guruji, and we used to have at least 3 to 3.5 hours sessions. We used to all the students sitting around him and him teaching us.
Ah,
So that was the riyaz or the
yeah.
practice that I did. And that carried me through for a long, long time.
Okay.
Even in my engineering college days, I did play a few notable concerts, like I
Mm-hmm.
accompanied Shobha Gurtuji,
Uh-huh.
I accompanied Bhaskar Chandavarkar, then Ratnakar Vyas, Sarod player, Shami Ahmed. All these people I accompanied, but without any practice at home. I used to borrow a tabla from someone else
Okay.
and then do the concert, return to my hostel room.
Any particular reason that tabla was not around you? Or
No,
was it
because
focused from the family that, you must focus on engineering?
no. My family was not that sort of hard-headed.
Huh.
They didn't have any objection, but engineering, is a full-time course, and
Very tough one as
yeah,
well.
very tough because every second of your day you have to make it count.
Yeah.
So a lot of study work, lot of submission work, field work.
Yeah.
So that took most of the time. So tabla was relegated initially as a standby, as a prop in my
Okay.
room, but
Okay.
then it vanished somehow.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then I was doing without tabla and not feeling the absence of the tabla.
Okay.
But fortunately, thanks to my Guruji, the way he had molded me, I could continue playing, and nobody realized that I was out of practice.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
yeah,
6 years, right? I mean, without touch, really.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting. You've been invited to various national and international music festivals, conferences. What's been the most cherishing moment of your life? And I'm sure there are many of them, but some of them, if you could share with us.
Actually, the one that I cherish most was when I was sent on a delegation to Europe when I was barely 16 years old
Uh-huh.
by the government of India and UNESCO. They jointly sponsored a delegation to Europe and the Middle East.
Okay.
And that is what I cherish most because there in Germany, I got an opportunity to uh, play a duet or
Okay.
jam with, as they say, with a very, very well-known drummer,
Uh-huh.
uh, Jim Krupa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he was a very well-known drummer, but I didn't realize what he was. He was attending our show put up by our delegation,
Mm-hmm.
and he came and met me behind stage. He said, "Can you come with me? Can you play with me?"
Uh-huh.
You know, I said, "Why not? I'll try."
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize what I was in for.
Yeah.
But it went off very well. He in fact appreciated. He gave me a lot of scope to
Uh-huh.
play along with. And after the show was over,
Yeah.
our delegation in charge he comes and asked me, "Whom you play with?" I said, "Yes, Mr. Krupa." And
Okay.
he said, "Yes, he's the most outstanding drummer today,
Uh-huh.
Western drummer in the world."
Yeah.
So he said, "We have to give you a treat." So
Okay.
there were six members in the delegation. They got together, contributed, and we had, of course, no wine at that age, but we had a nice meal.
Okay, wonderful. You have
Yeah, but
accompanied some top vocalists and instrumentalists. While
yes,
all these are amongst possibly the best in their league. Any
yes,
personal favorites with whom you played and enjoyed the most playing tabla, Sadanand
yeah.
Babu?
I'll enumerate right from the beginning.
Uh-huh.
When I was 16, I played my first concert with the great Ustad Amir Khan.
Uh-huh.
He was at a concert and his tabla player had not come for whatever reason.
Okay.
And it was announced if there is any tabla player, he should please. And there were many, but nobody had the guts.
Yeah.
So I stood up and I
Wow.
was given the chair and then I played. And I was appreciated by Ustad Amir Khan because the way he sang, very few people could play that Vilambit, Ati Vilambit, or very
Mhm.
slow Teka
Mm.
with him.
Mhm.
And thereafter, I had two or three other concerts with him. And then again, my engineering started. So I was out of the musical scene.
Yeah.
Before that, I had played with Dr. N. Rajam, violinist.
Yeah. Okay.
I had gone on a tour of Chennai and surrounding places with her.
Uh-huh.
And she was also very appreciative. And she said after about 2 or 3 months, when she came again to Bombay, she was looking for me and couldn't find me because I was in Pune at that time,
Okay.
College of Engineering, Pune.
Okay.
So there again, I missed the boat with playing with her.
Uh-huh.
Then I have accompanied very senior and well-known artists like Kumar Gandharvji, Jitendra Abhisheki, Vasantrao Deshpande, then Shobha Gurtu, as I told you.
Yeah.
This was in my engineering college days.
Hmm.
That was the vocalists.
Uh-huh.
There are many more, but right now,
I'm sure it's an endless list of luminaries, and I'm sure it's the best experience you ever had. Share us a little bit about the workshops and the demonstrations you conduct, because it's one is practicing tabla, playing tabla, being at concerts, but then is also about sharing your own language, sharing your experiences, right? How has been that experience? It's not just in India. I'm sure you've also done this abroad. How especially from foreign students, how is their feedback and appreciation?
well, I love teaching. I love teaching, so I used to look forward to these workshops and lectures. But there, what happens is, you cannot. It's a 2 or 3 day workshop or a lecture.
Yeah.
You cannot train students there.
Yeah.
You need students who will understand what you want to say,
Yeah.
and they being able to reproduce what you want.
Yeah.
So that being the case, there was no sort of teaching from the beginners level. Yeah, but at that level, it was easy to pass on my knowledge or my uh, compositions to them in a given frame of time. So my way of conducting a workshop is generally for 3 days or something.
Okay.
First 2.5 days, I tell them to decide on what tal they would like to take up. And if they say Japtal, I'd start Japtal right from the Vilambit, Peshkar, Kaidas, Rela, all the compositions in that, and the Drut. So that in 2 days, I'm able to have them compile a solo of half an hour. And then on the final day, for the valedictory function, first those boys would sit together, and in batches, if there are more than 6 or 7, they would have 2 or 3 batches. And then they would play whatever was taught.
Okay.
As a tribute to me. And that was wonderful to see those boys doing that on stage.
Yeah.
And then after that, the organizers would have me play a long drawn out solo.
Okay.
For the benefit of the students and other listeners who were invited. In LECDEM, what happens is, a LECDEM is generally for a day, 1 day.
Yeah.
It's a lecture come demonstration.
Yeah.
So here I have to take, there's no question of teaching anybody how to play, but it's just a lecture and then demonstrating what I'm saying, If I take a theory, like say, I take up Peshkar. What is Peshkar? How is it related to the rest of the music?
Yeah.
Like we say, we compare Peshkar of Tabla is to the Alap of vocal music. How is it comparable? When they take note by note, we take here phrase by phrase of Tabla.
Yeah.
Tabla has its own language.
Yeah.
So this is how I start out. Then I give a demonstration of the Peshkar and the next composition that follows and the next one. That is how I do it.
Wonderful.
We take a break for about an hour and then resume the second session.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your guru, the legendary Pandit Taranand ji. You under his tutelage. How was the tutelage under him, and any great and any challenging moments that you want to share about Taranand ji?
Well, Taranand ji, I can, it becomes difficult for me to talk about him. But I had a very, very good time with him. I spent about 6 to 7 years with him. And those were the days when I was in school. So I knew only going to school and waiting for the day to end and then rushing home and going to the tabla class.
Can imagine.
Yeah. And he was a person who sat through 3.5 to 4 hours with us students around him, with the harmonium on his lap and playing the lehra. A lehra in tabla, you must have heard tabla solos.
Yeah.
Just like a vocalist being accompanied by a tabla player, we have a harmonium or a sarangi player giving us the sign tune
Okay.
to play with. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Accompaniment.
Yeah. But yeah, he used to sit through and teach us compositions. He used to play the harmonium and recite. This is something I have not seen anybody doing.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
And where was this actually? Which location in Mumbai was this?
I used to stay in Talmakibadi, and
Okay.
my Guruji used to stay in a society called Sonawala Buildings.
Okay. Very close by.
Yeah, very close by, opposite now Ganga Jamuna Cinema Theatre.
Hmm.
So it was just about 5 minutes. I would say run. I never used to walk.
Okay.
Yeah, I was so eager to get to his place.
Okay.
So we used to go there. Hamashilo Magiri, Omkar Gulwadi was there.
Okay.
Mohan Balwali was there.
Absolute
And many
legends.
others. Yes,
Yeah.
many others were there.
Yeah.
So in that spirit, I learned tabla, and he used to always. I had a very good pickup and memory.
Okay.
So
And this was which year? Roughly which decade was this?
This was late 50s, 56,
Okay.
1946.
Okay.
I was born, no, 1956 to 1966, 67,
Okay. Okay.
when I passed my intermediate science and I had to go to Pune.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that period.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, carry on. Please carry on.
Yeah, so he used to, other boys used to write the lessons. He never used to allow me to write. He said, you have the ability to pick up. Don't depend on the written this thing.
Okay.
Book. So I used to, in the meantime, he would tell me, now this is a composition in Tintal. Now, how would you play it in Japtal? Tintal is 16 matras beats and Japtal is 10 beats. And he would leave me to it. And then when I gave him the solution, how I would do it,
Yeah.
if there was any change, he would tell me, no, see, try this way.
Okay.
Thus, he made me think about, expanding my knowledge.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Aamchi associations like Canara Saraswat Association or Talmakewadi, where you were born and raised, they have been great platforms for budding talent. What's been your journey? What's your thoughts on these institutions? And I'm sure you have had terrific opportunities to play at these institutions at various forums, including Diwali. So my question is, what's been your experience in terms of the journey that you've had? And the second, my question related would be, what more can institutions like KSA or Talmakewadi or such other Konkani institutions do to encourage music and talent?
Well, as you rightly said, I was born in Talmakewadi, and in that atmosphere, I don't know if you have experienced that, but we used to have a wonderful, association there.
Absolutely.
And all the boys and
fully with you on this.
Yeah. And KSA, of course, was our prime institution there, and they used to have, besides the athletics and tournaments, they also used to have side shows like devotional songs or somebody's vocal music or some orchestra or something. And there I would get plenty of opportunity to play with different, even I have played with kirtankars.
Okay.
Lot of kirtankars and music, of course, and instrumental music. All these concerts organized by KSA.
Okay.
Of course, at that point of time, I never bothered about how much remuneration I would get.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because my main interest was to play tabla.
Yeah, get that opportunity to play.
Yeah. So to that extent, KSA has been extremely helpful. Because later on, when I had graduated and I was a little bit older, they started having these Konkani Sangeet Sammelans, Saraswat Sangeet Sammelans. Not very frequently, but at least once in 3-4 years they would have. Gurnath Mam Gokarn.
He played a major role, right, in continuing it. Absolutely.
And they were started by Nalkur Sripad Mam. So those 3-4 days that the function was on was great for us.
Yeah.
And we were all Konkani stalwarts, Tabla means Sadanand or Omkar. Yeah, like that.
Correct.
So we used to get plenty of opportunities to play with senior artists, even Konkani artists, people like Pandit Dinkar Kaikini or SCR Bhatt or KG Ginde Bhaskar Chandavarkar, a lot of very senior and well-known artists.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And what do you think can institutions like KSA or any Aamchi institutions do to the young talent, especially the budding talent? I'm sure you guys got opportunities. I don't know whether it's currently been done, but is there something that institutions like KSA and others can do to encourage that upcoming talent within our community?
They are still continuing in that fashion, and they are encouraging talent. But unfortunately today, for KSA, unfortunately, I would say, is all these young students who are doing well in music, they are getting opportunities outside. That means all these TV reality shows and all the other organizations around, on organizing functions.
True.
So I don't know whether the artists would have much time to devote to KSA or any other, because KSA wouldn't be able to meet their financial requirements,
Absolutely. But
because
it's a great platform, actually, as I'm sure you,
it is,
even me, have experienced taking advantage, just to launch your own careers.
Yes, it is definitely, because to play in front of an audience, whether it is musically educated or not, the audience, the number of heads that you count, is an experience to cherish, because I feel that just as we need to practice your art and perfect it, we also need to practice the ability to perform in front of an audience.
Absolutely.
Not get overawed by the situation.
True.
Don't have butterflies in your stomach.
Yeah. That's the launchpad experience, right?
Yes.
Really experience it firsthand.
Yes.
Wonderful. Share us a little bit about the compositions of 4 new tals that you worked on, right? The Shani Tal, Nand Tal, Arpan Tal, and Gaurav Tal. Talk to us about these.
Well, actually, there comes a time in every musician's, time that, he thinks outside the box. The compositions that you keep practicing. But there is, in every composition, there is a way out you can get. You get out of that and something new comes up. So, because art is evolving, ever evolving. So there is nothing like, you can't go outside this or something. There are limits, like, you stick to your gharana, you stick to your tal cycle, whatever. But in that scope, you can make your own compositions, provided your mind has grown out of that, sphere. What you have learned from your guru, or what you have learned from your colleagues, or from noted artists outside, is one thing. But your own contribution is another thing.
Agree.
Yeah, because it's an expression of your inner abilities, So there came a time where I used to think, this Tintal 16, 16, 16, how long am I going to play that? I must have something challenging. Then I started playing only odd tals, like Rupak of 7 beats, Japtal, Ektal, and even 9 matra, 11 matra, 13 matra tals. But there also, there was a fixed cycle. You cannot go beyond that. So I thought, why not try a half matra tal? Actually, theory-wise, there is no half matra. For a tal to be completed, it has to be complete matras. But I just made an attempt, 7.5. That is, I called it Shani Tal, because we always compare,
associate with Shani,
7.5 with Shani, Sade Sati Mantra. I just called it like that, and I presented it to my Guruji. I asked him, this is my composition. The tal also, the takeoff of the tal also I composed. 5 matras of Vilambit Japtal and 5 matras of Drut Japtal. Like then na, then na, tin na, then na, then 5 and 2.5. He appreciated that, he liked it. And he heard my solo and he said, it's good. Do something in these lines. So then I got the impetus from him.
Okay.
And then the next tal I did was Arpan Tal. Now, Arpan Tal was an occasion, it was played for an occasion. That was my Guruji's 76th birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said, I can't play a tal of 76 matras because I'll go on till the end of the program. I'll be playing only 1 hour.
Yeah.
So I shortened it to 19 matras first.
Okay.
That means 1/4 of the total. And then even that I shortened it to 8.5.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Sorry, 9.5.
9.5.
Okay. 9.5. And that I termed it as Arpan Tal.
Okay. Okay.
Arpan, that means my offering
like
to
the
my
Shishya
Guru.
to the Guru. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the second composition. The third was Nanda Tal, that is 8.5 matras. 8.5 matras was just spur of the moment. I was waiting for my recording at All India Radio. And suddenly I thought, why play in something set? Why not? Because by that time I had played almost 10 years as a soloist in All India Radio. So it was nothing new. So there itself, I was waiting outside and with the Gurudutt Heblekarji, who was to accompany me on the Lehra with him. And I asked him, is it okay if I play something like 8.5 matras? He said, why not? And he composed the Lehra there itself of 8.5. Yeah. And I started composing bit by bit. And the solo grew as I went on playing. There's a half an hour slot there in Akashvani.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how I filled that 8.5 matras, but I mean the half an hour, but it went off very nicely.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah. And then the last was the 10.5.
Yeah.
10.5 matras it has already been played. It had been played by my senior Guru Bandhus, Ravi and Shashi Bellare. They had played that, and the name was given by Pandit S.N. Ratanjankar.
Okay.
He called it Sardha Rupak. Sardha means 1.5.
Okay.
Rupak 7.5 plus half Rupak again 3.5.
Okay.
So that is 10.5. That is how he named it. But I didn't take that composition of his. I made a new composition of 10.5 matras, and then I named it Ada Shat Tal. Shat means 6. So
Okay.
six beats like this, and the last 4.5 beats, or last 3 beats would be Ada, means 1.5 times.
Okay.
So 3 into 1.5 is 4.5.
Okay.
So 6 plus 4.5.
Okay.
That is how I termed it, and I played that tal again with different compositions, and that also I like. But then after that, my Guruji had a talk with me. He said, why are you unnecessarily taxing your brain? It's okay, you have done this, but also play the traditional tals.
Okay.
Because your compositions, it's like a crossword.
Yeah.
You sit for about half an hour, do whatever you can, then you keep it aside.
Yeah.
Whereas these are traditional tals, they are classical tals.
Set tals. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can tell them in a story fashion or whatever, and people will appreciate that. So he put an end to that adventure of mine.
Okay.
And
end of the day, the Guru rules, right?
Yeah. So, but I'm thankful for it. But my mind had grown in the meantime, and I could do much more even in the set tals.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. You've written a couple of books as well, Sadanand. Maybe talk about those. How did you get the time to write those books in spite of your busy schedules and performances?
Well, actually, my first book came about when I was on a tour of USA. Because there it's only the weekends that we used to have concerts.
Yeah.
So 4 or 5 days we were
at
staying.
home.
Yeah. So at that point of time, I had decided to write because I didn't have any written material. My Guruji never allowed me to write.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, agree.
Yeah. But then when I started teaching, I found that students needed to write.
Yeah.
So I used to write a bit and they used to copy. So that way, compositions kept piling to such an extent that I felt they'll get scattered if I don't
It's
put
time
them
to
together.
write, to
Yeah.
document.
That's how my first book came about.
Hmm.
And you want me to show them to you?
Yeah, you
Books?
can please. Yes, if you have it close by,
Yeah.
that will be
This
great.
is my first book.
Wonderful. Tabla.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
And it is meant for students of say about 4 years, 4.5 years.
Okay.
Who
Okay.
they
The
have, yeah,
forward is Ustad Zakir Hussain, who has
yeah,
he's written a
forward,
forward
yes,
to it.
yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So this is my first book.
Uh-huh.
And then after this, within about another 2 years, I came
Uh-huh.
about with this book.
Okay. Okay.
This is
For advanced
for
students.
advanced students.
Okay.
And this has a foreword by Pandit Shivkumar Sharma.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
Tall words. Yeah.
Yeah, this has a compilation of around 13 tals,
Mm-hmm.
all in solo format.
Okay.
Each tal can be played for about an hour and a half.
Hmm.
So this is in great demand
Uh-huh.
by juniors as well as senior tabla players.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then there was a gap
Mm-hmm.
in which I stopped writing, but I came up with
Hmm.
this. This is the it's a DVD
Okay.
which
Okay.
shows all the compositions played
Okay.
in the first
The
book.
audiovisual demonstrations.
Yeah, audio
Okay.
visual. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
first
Yeah.
book.
That's
Yeah,
really very good.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then after about 7 or 8 years gap, I came up with another book. This is the tabla. This is
Okay.
guts, chakradhars, and parans.
Uh-huh.
Now these are compositions which only an ustad teaches his students
Okay.
when they have become ganda band shagirds, or ready to carry on the tradition of that gharana.
Okay. Okay. And one.
So yeah, so these are not commonly taught.
Okay.
So that is why I decided to make this book, write this book.
Beautiful.
And this has over about 1,200 compositions.
Okay. And who's
Yeah.
written the forward for this book?
For
I
this
can't
book,
see that.
Pandit
Pandit
Swapan Chowdhury
Okay.
is also a very leading tabla player who settled in US.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
Now this book, all my other books, the first two books were in English. This
Hmm.
also was in English.
Uh-huh.
And I had a special request from tabla players
Okay.
here to write something in an Indian language.
Uh-huh.
So the same compositions, but I wrote separately
Okay.
for this book.
Okay. Ah, wonderful.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So this is
So
in Hindi.
this is in Hindi, yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
what
then-
what I realize is it's so beautiful that you have documented your learnings for the next generation and the generations beyond, right from the learner stage to the most advanced stage.
Yes.
That's beauty. That's the beauty of it.
Also another thing is I brought out this CD,
Uh-huh.
Maha Tal Yag. That
Uh-huh.
means there are 10 different tals starting from Rupak of 7
Mm-hmm.
to Vilambit Teen Tal of 16 matras.
Oh, beautiful.
In all half an hour solo. This
Okay.
is very much appreciated because nobody has played this kind of CD.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Your son Sameer, he has
Yeah.
now inherited the music, the genes from your family. And I do see, and he has adopted the Facebook way of reaching out to people. He's tutoring kids.
Yeah.
Maybe if you could share a little bit about Sameer and his musical in the initial
Yes.
journey.
Yes. Sameer, as you said, he has music in his genes, but I would rather say they are from my mother's side, because she was a very, very talented person. Not only music wise, even her handicrafts and all that were amazing, because she was not that educated. She may have barely reached the school
those
final.
years,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Then got married at the age of 15 or so.
Yeah.
So her whole life was devoted to the family.
Hmm.
And in that time, whatever she made or she sang was, I mean, by today's standards, I am really amazed she could do so much without proper tutoring. So they are basically her genes, and he took on that.
Okay.
And he went into music. As a kid, as a 4 or 5 year old kid, he would play the harmonium.
Okay, wow.
He would kneel down, because sitting down, if the harmonium was higher than him, he
Yeah.
would kneel down and play and that's how he started. Then he started singing on his own. He
Uh-huh.
had a small piano, a
Uh-huh.
child's piano, on which he would play.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So this is how he started, and he developed it with. He learned from Krishna Kalle,
Ah, okay.
and then from Suresh Wadkar and his wife, which is
Okay.
very close by Ajivasan to where I stay.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now what has happened is he used to work for Jet Airways,
Mm-hmm.
and Jet Airways closed down.
Yeah.
So he had an alternate career in
Hmm.
music.
Yeah.
He started teaching live as well as online.
Hmm.
Nowadays he's settled in Finland
Okay.
because his wife works for TCS and they have deputed her for 2 years
Okay.
training.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's there and he's conducting classes. He's performing there also. He's
Beautiful.
doing quite well in his own way. Yeah.
Very good. In fact, that's where where certain adversities, the opportunities come in a different way, and it flourishes your career. So it's beautiful that,
Yeah.
because I'm a friend of Sameer, and I mean, as you know, building number 8, right? So we
Yeah.
used to
Yeah.
connect, and that's how actually when I saw his posts, I've been interacting with those posts and seeing the kind of active music in so much happening from his side. So that's
Yeah.
beautiful to know. Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Even his daughter, she's very, very talented.
Okay,
She
beautiful.
has won KSA awards for children art.
Oh, okay,
Not
interesting.
only that, in Finland, she started making statues of Ganpati
Oh,
because they couldn't get it there. She
wow.
made it on
Okay.
her own. Yeah,
Oh, how old is
that
she now?
she's now 15,
Okay.
but she had made this statue when she was hardly 12 or 13.
And what's her name?
Her name is Swara.
Swara. Okay, beautiful. The name itself tells you a lot. Yeah, beautiful. Just before two questions before we wind up. One is, you have had some amazing opportunities to present, perform in front of some of our Swamijis. Uh,
Yeah.
Maybe you could share a few bit of your experiences in presenting. Yeah.
Yes, in my school days, we used to very much look forward to Swami Anandashram, who used to visit Talmakibadi for Chaturmas or whatever. He would stay there, and there
Hmm.
used to be concerts in the evenings. And as what you call budding ustads of our community, we would get opportunity to play, and with his blessings, I played twice or thrice solo in his presence, and I
Okay.
was blessed by him.
Okay.
And later on, Parinjnanasram Swamiji was a student of our Guruji. He used to
Oh,
learn,
okay.
yeah, and
Interesting. Okay.
he knew about me. He knew he had heard me, and I have played a lot of concerts in
Uh-huh.
his presence. And there was a time when I was away from Tabla,
Okay.
yeah, for a long time. Then
Uh,
I decided to go back, and then I met Swamiji, and the moment he saw me, he said, "Yo, Tabalji, yo, Krishna Sab."
Okay.
So I thought I took that as a blessing from him, and I started out my second innings in Tabla.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Amazing.
and of course, this our current Swamiji is very, very art centered. I mean, he himself is an excellent
Yeah.
singer, and I have played in his presence,
Hmm.
or rather offered my seva to him many times. Only
Wonderful.
thing is, recently in Mangalore, you know the episode.
Yeah.
I went to perform for the
Yeah, but
Chaturmas,
you
but
couldn't. But yeah, but
yeah,
that's fine. But I'm glad Samir could perform, and he was there, and it
no,
could.
he couldn't because the atmosphere was tense and
Okay, we
yeah,
couldn't take
yeah.
it ahead. Okay,
I-
that's fine. Yeah. Last question from my side. What has music taught you, Sadanand Mangu?
Music has made me, not just taught me. Today I am what I am because of music, not because I did my engineering. That is the most regrettable part of my life, going in
Hmm.
for engineering
Yeah.
without having the ethos behind it. I didn't really, I feel that was a wasted time. But because that was a time when I could have spent more time, practicing and building my career.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that part of my life is a wasted
Hmm.
part, and I don't want to
Get into
think
that.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Erase it. Control
So
Alt Delete.
today, whatever I am is because of music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm extremely thankful for whatever it has done for me, and I always tell my students that you are talented in this. Don't ignore it. Play as much as you can. And if they are really good, I call the parents home and I tell them, "Pada hakka han to interest, sir. Let him don't pressurize him to
Agree.
go for this or that or that. Let him do it as much as he can."
Hmm.
Because today, so many youngsters are performing,
Hmm.
they are not doing it for free. They are doing it, they are doing earning well. That's why they are continuing in that.
True. Yeah. Completely agree. Absolutely.
So I always advise my students
Hmm.
to think about it and, not just take it as a means of livelihood, but
Yeah.
work on it.
Yeah. Agree.
And then money will come later on.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very powerful statement to end with. Music has made me. That's Mr. Sadanand Mam Naimpalli for us. An amazing person, very kind hearted, very talented. And you see that now flowing down right into the family. Sadanand Mam, thank you so much for being with us on this episode of the Aamchi Legends. Truly
I should thank you. I should thank you for having me on Aamchi Legends. And I really hope somebody who's listening to it can make one or two lessons out of it and take life as it. Yeah.
Truly. Absolutely. Well, and with that, with those kind words, we come to the end of this episode of Aamchi Legends. A big thank you to Samiir Halady, who has conceptualized and marketing the show Aamchi Legends over now across more than 15 plus episodes. And I'm sure you guys have been enjoying. Do write into us and let us know if you have any names you could refer to us. We could invite our guests to be on the next few episodes of Aamchi Legends. And also we have the other legends, which is the upcoming youngsters legends, right? And that is another show that we have. We'd love to have your views and your feedback. But for now, from me, Santosh Sirur and Sadanand Mam Naimpalli, thank you so much for being on Aamchi Legends.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you.